Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All Ohio Students, sponsored by the Ohio Association for College Admissions Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, oacac.org. I'd like to now turn it over to our presenters, Sarah and Maddie of GrooveView, at GrooveView.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you to OACAC for having us and to StriveScan as well. So I see, I know we're expecting a few more participants today, but just going to give a shout out to, hi, Ethan. Thanks for joining us today. So again, my name is Sarah Hudson, and I am the Director of Development here at GrooveView. And today I am live from our Studio A. And I also have with me Maddie Slimak, who is a GrooveView alumni, class of 2019, and also our Senior Coordinator of Chaos. And she is coming to you from Studio B. So I'm just going to share my screen and get started here. All right, so we are located, GrooveView is located in Dublin, Ohio, which if you're not from around here is just 15 minutes northwest of downtown Columbus in a northwest suburb. We are a real building, right? We don't have any online classes, no branch campuses, just one GrooveView here in a $1.6 million facility in Dublin. So what exactly does GrooveView offer? We are a 2-year program, and we offer a diploma in what we call music industry entrepreneurship. And so you can actually specialize in one of our 6 areas of study. So that's audio production, live sound engineering, music business, video production, interactive design, and we also have an independent artist track. A lot of students ask, well, if it's 2 years, why is it a diploma and not an associate's degree? And I'll clarify, it is not an associate's degree because we don't have any general education classes. So no math, no science, no English. Some students are really excited to hear that we have no math. We just have your core music, technical, and business classes. You'll often see stuff from us that says, no noise, just music. We are kind of like if you were to attend a 4-year program for music tech or music industry studies and cut those first 2 years of liberal arts classes out and just focus on your core major classes. So that is one of our students, Solomon, in the studio right behind me. As I mentioned, it's 2 years of very hands-on training. And even now we are continuing with in-person classes here in the building. So even pre-COVID, we are a very unique small institution. We have an average of 5 students in each class. That I know sounds a little insane when I tell people that. They're like, 5? Really, 5? But yes, as you can see, there is a lot of really amazing equipment in this building, a lot of technical stuff to learn. We can't cram, 20 students at this board to try to get experience and time learning the skills. So our classes are very small. At full capacity, we have 48 students, and that is when a completely full building. We will never have a GrooveView Atlanta or a GrooveView New York. We are just one campus. And the reason being is we are very focused on job placement. We will never admit more students into our program than we feel we can safely get quality internships, quality trips to conferences, and obviously quality job placement. We have a 2-to-1 student to teacher ratio and a 4-to-1 student to administrator ratio. So there is absolutely no being wallpaper here at GrooveU. That can make some students feel uncomfortable, but our students have more of a coach-athlete relationship with their instructor versus a student teacher. We really push students to be their absolute best because frankly, this is a very competitive industry. Every student receives a personal tech package, including their laptop, headphones, microphone, interface, hardware and software worth over $2,000. It is theirs to keep. If you enroll in a traditional college program, typically you're just paying a number for tuition, and then you have fees on top of that. You have to invest in maybe a laptop or books or other recording software, or maybe you're in a lab class that has fees associated with that. Everything you need to be successful at GrooveU is included in your tuition. And lastly, we are a positive disruptor in higher education. And I say that because we are a little bit rogue. We are run from the outside in. So that means we are run by 6 industry advisory panels that are made up of industry employers. They tell us what they're hiring for, what they're firing for, what they're training for, and we then in turn implement that into our curriculum. All right, so as I mentioned, job placement, really, really big for us. This is, if you log onto our website and you look at our mission is 100% job placement. Since the beginning of time, we have 94% job placement in field within 6 months of graduation among all of our students, or all of our graduates, I'm sorry. You'll see there that the national average among all colleges, major non-specific, is 53%. So not only are we outperforming our competitors, but we're actually outperforming general programs as well, non-specific to the music industry. There's another asterisk with that, is that national average is among colleges that report. Most public universities are not required to report job placement within their specific programs. So for example, if you call up Berklee College of Music and you ask them what their job placement is, they're going to tell you that, I'm sorry, we don't collect that information. And a lot of times that is because colleges don't want to know. But you're paying a lot of money and you're investing a significant amount of your time in a peak part of your life to further your education. And I don't think anybody goes to college just to get the information. Obviously, many students enroll in college to also look for a career and to get a job as well. So again, that is 100% what we are focused on. We are looking to develop students as an entire professional package, not just a talented person. This picture is actually one of our alumni, Sky Young, who works in the festival circuit. He also manages a private lesson company as well. So he has been worked on festivals all across the US and is typically on the road from February until October. But as I mentioned, he also does some video production and manages a private lesson company as well. So he has been still protected from the COVID effect on the music industry. All right, so I'm gonna take, next we're gonna talk about what exactly it looks like to be at GrooveU. And I'm gonna take this opportunity to let Maddie, as an alumni of GrooveU, class of 2019, talk a little bit about her experience.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Maddie. Like Sarah said, I graduated from GrooveU in 2019. My specialization was in audio production. So what did my time look like at GrooveU? What did the 2 crazy years look like? The first year was the foundation of everything. That's where I learned a little bit of everything and kind of got a feel for the different areas of study that GrooveU offers, and discovered what I really enjoyed doing and what maybe I didn't enjoy doing. I enjoyed doing all of it, but audio production was my personal favorite, so I decided to pursue that one. But within the first year, I got a little taste of recording and mixing. I got a taste of some video work and some business work as well. And then once I decided that I wanted to do audio production, which was made 100% clear to me after my summer internship, I interned at a local recording studio in Columbus called Orange Studio. And I got a lot of experience recording and mixing there, and decided that I would like to do this forever. So I chose that as my specialization. And then in the second year, all the classes narrowed down to focus on that specific specialization alone. So I got really intensive hands-on work with recording and mixing and like building studio equipment, learning how to build a studio, turn a space into a studio, how to, contact bands to work with and artists and make a really solid recording and a really solid mix and turn it into something that the public can listen to. So that was kind of my personal experience with classes. In the first year, all the classes were in the morning every day. All classes are block scheduled, so they're at the same time every day, Monday through Thursday. And then second year classes are in the afternoons, so that you can work at night as a first year, and then once you have a year of experience, you can find a job possibly in field and work that in the mornings in your second year. A couple other things that were really cool and unique about my time at GrooveU were the 2 internships, conference attendance, and private lessons. So internships are required. I was at Orange Studio both years because I liked it so much the first year that I wanted to go back and do even more the second year. And I did. My employer trusted me to run sessions on my own after seeing how well I did in the first year. So that was cool to see that I was learning and gaining experience in things. And then conference attendance is a lot of fun. Every year we go to a big music industry conference called South by Southwest. It's a big music industry conference that we're there for a week, and you get to mingle and build relationships with people during the day and then see live music at night. And that's really important because GrooveU believes that there's 3 key components to the music industry, and number 1 is that it's relationship driven. So that conference attendance gives you the chance to make relationships with professionals that you might not meet just walking around downtown Columbus or wherever you live. And those relationships then lead to jobs or other relationships that lead to other opportunities. And number 2, we believe it's apprenticeship based, which goes back to the 2 summer internships, how I was at Orange Studio. I apprenticed with my employer, Joey, and he was trusting enough in me to allow me to go off and do my own thing in his studio by myself in my second year. And then the third thing is creatively engaged. So how are you going to differentiate yourself from the other hobbyists or people that enjoy these things but maybe aren't professional or haven't had an apprenticeship or don't have the correct relationships? Number 3 is finding creative ways to kind of make yourself stand out from the other pool of potential employees or apprentices, if that's a word. So, and then the creatively engaged, that component was primarily talked about in the business courses, which you get both years, and how to, like, build a creative resume or business cards or your website, just market yourself differently to make yourself stand out. Like I said, it's 2 years and it is intense. You are working all the time. I was working all the time. The first year was the foundation, so there was a bunch of different projects and a bunch of different areas going on. And then in the second year, as it narrows down, there was a bunch of projects specific to recording or the Capstone Project, which I'll talk about in a second. So the Capstone Project is something that second year students do every year as their kind of spring term big final event, and it involves the Columbus community, it involves all the specializations at Grooveview, and it involves music, obviously. So my class did a project called The Seaside, and it was a video and audio series that debuted on YouTube in January of 2019. It featured multiple Columbus bands, that local Columbus bands that are involved in the community. And the goal of the project was to highlight the camaraderie in the Columbus music scene. That's something that's cool about Columbus, is that it's got a big music scene, but it's still small enough to where everybody wants to work with everybody. It's not competitive, it's more collaborative. So we wanted to highlight that. So we did The Seaside, and the way that we highlighted the collaborative atmosphere of Columbus is we had each band on the record cover a song of another Columbus band in their own unique style. So one of the bands, who's like a rock band, could cover a funk song and put it into their own unique style, turn a funk song into a rock song. And that's what each song on the record did. It kind of showed that these Columbus artists are good songwriters because they can be played in multiple different genres. So like I said, it aired in January of 2019, and that was only the start of the project. We recorded every band in Studio A, where Sarah is, and we mixed them in here, Studio B, and then we decided that we wanted to press it onto a vinyl record, which is what we're all holding in the picture. We collaborated with a local Columbus record pressing / recording studio called Music Hole Recording, and they pressed the records for us, and we got to release them later on in April of 2019. And we had a big release party at a local Columbus venue, and we had one of the bands from the record play at the release party, and it was a really great turnout, and everybody was really supportive at the event. All of the bands came and supported each other, and the whole way that the project went from working with Music Hole, a local Columbus place, to playing at the local Columbus venue, Craft and Vinyl, just kind of brought together the community collaborative aspect of the project that we were trying to highlight in the first place. So I think the Capstone Project is a really cool thing. All of the second years each year do something different and make it better than the previous year. I think so far it's been just, how can we get any better than this? And then they go and do it better. And they do that. They do it better through their experiences that they've gained through their classes and internships and the relationships that they've built. So that was our project.
Awesome. Thank you, Maddie. All right. So let's talk about some numbers here. I know this is always a really important slide for parents and for students as well. we like to be transparent about our tuition. Again, we have a 2-year program. So our tuition includes everything that you need here. Your tech package with your laptop, your hardware, your software, all your textbooks, your course supplies, a trip to a music conference, typically that is South by Southwest. So that's your airfare, your badge, your hotel, your internships, and your private lessons. We, as you can see, we like lease all of those extra things to you for $1 a year. So that makes tuition $32,000 annually. Again, I personally am not a wealthy enough person to think that $32,000 is an insignificant amount of money. I understand that is a significant investment of tuition. One thing I will remind students is that we are a 2-year program. So you're going to be in your two years of school for about $64,000. The average, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average starting salary for someone in the media arts industry is $45,000 to $50,000 annually. The average cost of a 4-year public program this year is $29,000. So multiply that by 4, you're in school for about $120,000, and that's just tuition. That doesn't include all the extra tech and activity fees and books and and gas and things that you're going to need. So again, don't spend $120,000, or if you're looking at a private institution, for your programs, you're looking at an average annual tuition cost of about $42,000. So don't spend close to $200,000 on an education when 60% of people working in this industry cite a 2-year vocational award plus on-the-job training as their primary source of education. And again, if you're expecting to make an entry-level salary of about $50,000, you don't want to get backwards, upside down in debt. So again, you're looking at a full 2-year all-inclusive experience at $32,000 $32,000 or $64,000 for your 2 years. And while that is a significant investment, we do believe that it is a best value compared to other programs that you have an option of attending. One thing I will, though, include is that we don't have room and board on campus. If you're coming to us from outside of the Columbus area or out of state, we do assist with housing placement. Last year, over 60% of our student body came from outside of Columbus. So we do have some local apartments recommendations that do offer student discounts for housing. We do have a roommate placement assistance program that we can help you with, but we do ask students to plan accordingly for that. If you're coming from Columbus and you already live with mom and dad and they've allowed you to stay at home and pay them back personally for rent or living at home, you've already budgeted that, then you're good. If you're coming from Cleveland or Cincinnati, we estimate that the cost of renting an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment in Dublin, Ohio for a year is about $12,000. So again, we just put that number in there to be transparent and allow you to plan, but you're not paying that number to us, to Group U. So how do you pay for school, right? So let's start with the best case scenario. Hopefully you have the opportunity to win or earn, rather, some grant and scholarship opportunities. Right now, up through October 15th, we have a high school audio production competition going on. It's called iMix Matchup. You can view information at imixmatchup.com. This is for any level high school producer. Any experience that you have, any software that you use, we encourage you to check it out. So for example, if you're a student and all you have is a Mac or an iPhone and all you know is how to use GarageBand, that is okay. If you're using something like Fruity Loops or Logic or BandLab, that is okay. If you're already advanced enough and you're using Pro Tools, that is all great. You could check it out online, but basically students will submit their mixes to us. We have industry professionals and award-winning engineers on site that will evaluate mixes, and you have the opportunity to win not only some grant and scholarship opportunities, but also some one-on-one mentorship, studio mentorship, as well as some amazing home studio gear, and the opportunity to come to campus and compete in person in our studio. So some pretty cool stuff there. I encourage any student who is already experimenting with production to check that out. If your school or your program participates in Skills USA, GrooveU does host the annual high school audio production competition for the state of Ohio. So encourage your teacher to allow you to participate in that if you know that like you're already participating in other Skills USA competitions. Again, we had about 8 teams compete in 2019, and I do anticipate that they're going to continue, even if it's a virtual competition again this year in 2021. And then lastly, for any songwriters out there, we have something called InstaBand. It is a high school battle of the bands, but it is open to all genres and all styles of musicians. This year, because of COVID, we are going to focus on smaller ensembles. So singer-songwriters, solo artists, duos. You are encouraged to apply. If you write original music of any kind, definitely check that out. And registration opens for that on November 1st. So that all this can be found on our website, but instaband.org is the link for Instaband, and imixmatchup.com is specifically for imixmatchup. How else do you pay for GrooveU? We do have an internal payment plan. We also have a third-party loan program that we do work with. I will just let you know, we do not accept the FAFSA. We do have loans, student loans available, but unfortunately they are not through FAFSA or Title IV funds. So you do not need to submit that if you are applying to GrooveU. All right, so next steps. As I mentioned earlier, we are a quality over quantity institution. Therefore, we only accept 12 students per class, and we could run maximum 2 classes for a maximum of 24 students per year. So because of that, it is competitive admission, and it does fill up quickly. So we do encourage you to sort of, if you're a junior and you're tuning in, this is a great time to start your campus visit process. And if you're a senior, don't panic, it's not too late, but just don't wait too long. As you can see, we have an early app deadline of November 15th. So the first thing is you need to inquire, which it sounds like today most of you have taken that first step by participating in our information session today. But we do require that all students visit in person or this year, at least virtually, before they apply. I guess you could go ahead and submit an application today, but if we haven't met you or talked with you at length, we won't move forward on processing your application until we've done that. It's important, this is a big investment of time and money. It's important that you know what you're applying for, and that we know who you are as a person. We have a 62% acceptance rate. As I mentioned, we are looking for the student who is the best fit for our unique program. Once you've visited and then once you've applied, we request your high school transcripts and a letter of recommendation. We have never required ACT or SAT test scores. We do not find that test scores are a good indicator of success at GrooveU. If you are an amazing test taker and you got a 30 on your ACT and you would like to show that to us, we'd be happy to see it, but you do not need to submit any test scores. Once we reviewed your application, if we feel like you are a good fit, we will invite you to join us for an in-person admission session. And this is a pretty intensive 2-hour-long interview and in-person essay. we like to meet our students a minimum of 3 times before we grant an acceptance. So again, what that means is hopefully I've interacted with you once in a situation like this today where you're inquiring on a more basic level. Secondarily, you came for a formal campus visit, and then at the 3rd level, you're coming back for your admission session. We will chat, we'll have a nice interview, and then we will make an acceptance decision. At that point, like I said, we only accept our first 12 students, and then we see where we are. So if you do not get your app in by November 15th, there is a good chance that you might be waitlisted. So don't see that to be, to apply any pressure, just wanna give you all the facts. Let's see here. Yeah, so I do wanna open it up to questions. This is direct contact information for both Maddie and myself today. And I'll leave that up for just a second to make sure everyone has a chance to screenshot it or write it down. Obviously, this is all on our website as well. I'm happy to throw this into the chat also. Yeah, so go ahead, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat window, and I will stop sharing real quick. Anybody have any questions? All right, I got an answer or a question about, what are we looking for as an attractive candidate? And I will just say, for us, music is a lifestyle choice. It is a very, some students think, oh, music sounds fun. I think I'll try it out. But, there are certainly careers in which you can make more money. They have a little bit more of a black and white path towards them. They are a little bit more secure, and so therefore they're easier. So if music isn't something that you feel is your plan A, there's no other option for you, no plan B. You really just need to, this is your life, like you have to do music. That's what we're looking for in a student. There are some, unfortunately, different high schools have different opportunities open to their students in high school. So it's not unusual that, a student may not have ever been exposed to music industry careers or audio production or video production in high school. So I'm not alarmed when students come to us and don't have a lot of experience on their own, but typically it's a good sign if students are already doing this in some way, shape, or form. So maybe that's they're already running sound at their church, or they are already recording on software in their bedroom, or they're already involved with local bands going to open mic nights, or they're writing songs. If you come to me and you've only played, clarinet and band for 4 years, that's okay too. But we do like to see that students have had a little bit more initiative on their own doing this. And Daddy, I see you got a question. I'll let you take that one.
All right, so the question reads, what did I do in my last years of high school for activities or to prepare for GrooveU, and how did I decide to pursue this kind of training? Did I do internships or anything like that before applying? My answer, I had a unique path, I guess, at the end of my college years where I procrastinated applying for colleges like it was my job. I really put it off. And then right towards the end, I went and visited like 20 schools, all of them just 4-year regular liberal arts schools, with the idea that like, I guess I would major in music theory or something, because I'm a classically trained pianist of 15 years, and that was the only path I thought there was in the music industry. So I visited all these liberal arts schools and it was the same every time. I wasn't, totally sold. And then as it got down to the wire, I decided I should, apply for these schools so that I could go to college just to go. And then fortunately, my piano instructor actually somehow, like a friend of a friend of a friend, knows Sarah and told me about GrooveU, and I checked it out, and it was like a whole new world that was opened to me in the music industry, a whole technical side that I had no idea about. So to answer your question, and did I have any kind of training or internships? No, I did not, other than just piano. I played piano, and then I was in the marching band and the regular band at my high school. Now, there were a couple outside of school things that I did that kind of influenced this path. I was in a rock band for 3 years, my last 3 years of high school, and we made an album my junior or senior year. I can't remember, but we were all involved majorly in the production process. So while one of us was performing, the other three were in the studio watching the engineer record. And I thought that was really, really cool. Like, I had never seen anything like that before. All I knew was playing live gigs or playing piano recitals or band concerts. So to be in the studio and see that recording and production process really was like, this is super cool. How can I do this? And then sitting in on the mixing process as well, and just watching like a song be created from a bunch of different music tracks was really fascinating for me. And then a couple months later, I found out about GrooveU and went on and applied, and here I am. So to answer your question, I didn't really do anything to prepare me to work in this field. I was more on the musician side. So I guess I was kind of involved in activities that I should be involved, but maybe not on the right side of them. Not to say being a musician is on the wrong side, but I wasn't on the technical side until I discovered GrooveU. So I came in with no experience at all and did fine and learned plenty.
Yeah, and that's like Maddie said, it's not atypical for a student to come to us with a classical background. We start everybody off at day, the same level day one. And then students who have just had more experience will just find the first week or two to be a little bit easier for them. But we always say, like, you might start off here and somebody else starts off here, but by the end, you're going to be, way up here. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions? These are great, by the way. I will just throw in a couple last things about visiting. So we are open for in-person, socially distant, safe, mask-wearing visits. We have a couple large studios where we can, put students or student and staff member pretty far away to do a visit. But if you're, if you're underclassman, sophomore, or junior, and you'd rather wait to do an in-person visit and just start off with maybe a phone call or a virtual visit, that is absolutely fine. We're happy to schedule that as well. We do typically, in addition to iMix Matchup and Instaband, we do a lot of really cool events throughout the year. This year they're looking slightly different, but we still plan to do some great programming. We have a vinyl record listening party where we listen to music on like $60,000 worth of speakers. So I'm sure we'll do some element of that again this year, even if it is virtual. we just had a couple drive-in concerts for our class of 2020 Capstone Project. So we do plan to do a couple drive-in concerts this spring. Our students are throwing we have a student-run record label called Elementary Records, and they are putting on a record release party for 2 artists they've been working with over the summer. That'll be a live stream. So there will be lots of ways for students to kind of tune in, either in person or virtually, to see what it's like a little bit more from the student side. So. All right. Well, I think I will turn it back over to OACAC. I think that's it for today.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing about Grooveview, and Maddie, your personal experience being a student. Thank you all for joining us. When this window closes, you are going to see a quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, again, this was just one of the sessions that's being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at oacac.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as others at oacac.org. Thanks so much. Bye.